If it wasn't bad enough for the residents of Argentia and Marquise to witness their homes, churches, schools and recreation facilities burned and bulldozed in front of them, they later had to endure the transferring of 3 graveyards to the nearby town of Freshwater. This was one of the most heartbreaking events I uncovered during my research. It was dubbed Project 500 by the U.S. government. This involved the digging up of the 3 graveyards with exhumation and transferring of the bodies to a mass grave located in Freshwater. This project would be undertaken by the U.S. government. On October 1, 1941, the Commissioner for Justice granted a license to the Chief Health Inspector of Department of Public Health and Welfare for removal of the bodies. The work had been delayed to spring, and so in the spring of 1942, the excavation started, and the gruesome task of exhuming the bodies began. Funerals and transport of the bodies to the new cemetery took place at night to protect the families from witnessing such a traumatic event. There was a common vault in the shape of a cross with the coffins placed in tiers of 3 with headstones and markers placed around the sides of the new burial site. Family members who passed away during the American takeover were permitted to exhume the bodies themselves and bury them in a plot of their own choice at the new cemetery. It was reported by the Commissioner for Public Health and Welfare that 625 bodies or remains from the 3 cemeteries were exhumed. He said the project was gruesome, and it gave him incredible dread ever since he was first chosen to take charge of this task due to the sentimentality of the local people. No records were kept for either of the dates or burials or the location of the graves, but some were marked with headstones which dated back as far as 1722. Some bodies had been found further from the graves than expected due to the ground shifting over the years. All the information that was taken with photographs during the exhumation was given to the U.S. naval authorities. The Commissioner for Public Health and Welfare noted that the work started on July 17, including an American foreman, shovel operators, a timekeeper, and about 10 Newfoundland workmen. Considering the danger from exposing themselves during this project, the Newfoundlanders decided they should receive more pay than a regular job and made demands to the superintendent. They were declined and later gave up the job altogether and returned to their homes and families. The digging was done by mechanical shoveling and hand labor, which was a grueling task. During the dig there was a body that was well preserved, and it looked to be the body of a little girl. It was said that the little girl looked asleep because she was so well preserved. She was covered in a blanket of thick mud under the bog. Her hair was matted around her head, and her skin still contained natural color. Obviously, this made the men who were locals uncomfortable. It was a haunting day, and with fog around them creating a scene similar to a horror flick. This event left the diggers in shock and trapped with emotion at the sight before them. They were told to remove everything they found, every bone, every single body. Something about this particular body seemed eerie, as it was not in a coffin, and had shifted from the area of the headstones. There was a headstone nearby with an inscription stating a date of death as 1882, and they came to their own conclusion that it must have been her body. Many years had passed, but she was so well preserved, being a bog body, in which the bog preserves much of the body's skin, hair, clothes, and stomach contents remarkably well, thanks to the acidic, oxygen-poor conditions of peat bogs, which are made up of accumulated layers of dead moss. She was thought to be in the ground 60 years, but looked as if she was buried in the past year or less. The heartbreak and torture these poor men and women endured will forever be ingrained in the history of Newfoundland and Labrador. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Stay tuned for more videos on this Argentia series. Thank you for watching.